Hello and welcome to the GhostÉire channel, and tonight we're doing a Lackeen Castle review. So join us. If you'd like to leave a comment on the post, please do. I'll come to your questions near the different parts of the live show. So tonight we take you back to Lackeen Castle in County Tipperary, a place we investigated back in 2018. Tonight I'll be running down about the history, the type of haunting, the legend to the location. We'll also be talking about the base tests that were conducted on the night. We'll be talking also about the equipment and the experiments, a conclusion to the investigation, and the actual footage that we caught on the evening. Now, I'll just to advise you there before we start off, if you get any chance to use any earphones closer to you, please do get them now, because it might be essential in listening to the footage, as you might hear some EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon tonight. Also, we do be whispering during the investigation. It's part of the experiments we were using, but I'll run through that later. The footage we used tonight there, you can also see on our YouTube channel. It's already uploaded onto YouTube. If you can try and subscribe to the page, it'd be wonderful. And if you'd like to contact us, please do. You can go and contact us on our website, www.ghostére.net. You can go over to the contact page, fill in the blanks. If you have a private message, just put in brackets, private message. So, Lackeen Castle is noted for its fairies. I'm going to run through a bit of the history to you, and hopefully you'll be able to if you have any comments, please do put them forward to us there. Also, if you're affiliated with any paranormal team, any tourist attraction, please do put in brackets on the comments below the name of the organization, and I'll give a quick shout out to you there. Okay, so my earphones are a bit dodgy there at the moment there, so sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a bit of the history of Lackeen Castle first. And the first thing is I'm going to just put up the castle there, so you hear me talking in the background there. Okay, so Lackeen Castle. I'm going to talk slowly, so you'll probably hear me anyway, so I'm just going to talk slowly. Set a few kilometers from the village of Lackeen in County Tipperary, inside a fortified enclosure, the tower house of Lackeen is claimed to have been built on the site of a former castle in the 12th century. The Irish tower house we see today was constructed in the 16th century for chieftain of Ormond, Brian O'Kennedy Thrawn. The O'Kennedys were the first clan in Ireland to go into battle against the Vikings wearing helmets. Kennedy, expressed in English, means helmeted head, and Thrawn translates to fair or white. The name O'Kennedy was later anglicised to the name we call today, O'Kennedy. The castle was surrendered to English parliamentarian forces under the rule of Oliver Cromwell in 1653. Although battered by Cromwell's artillery, the tower house will later be back in possession of the O'Kennedys. The Lackeen Missal, a manuscript written in Latin and Gaelic dating from the late 8th, early 9th century, was found in the walls of the castle when restoration work was being carried out by John O'Kennedy in 1735. The four-storey tower house, the third floor being vaulted, has stairs that lead up to the first floor. A spiral staircase in the northeast corner of the castle steers to the second floor. Entry into the castle can be approached by using the southeast doorway. A secret chamber can be found on the third floor. It is unknown whether this area was used as an escape from attackers, smuggle goods, to detain, or even murder people. Another of the O'Kennedy strongholds, Tulin Castle, has a secret chamber too. It is recorded in the annals of the Four Masters that a prior, John O'Horgan, was killed by the O'Kennedys on Gutteroo Hill, which is a short distance from Lackeen Castle, and it means Hill of the Slaughter. And this happened in the year 1599. It is hard to find the provocation behind the murder, but either a family dispute or a disagreement over loyalty in the 9 Years' War between 1594 and 1603 might have occurred. Lackeen Castle is owned by the Irish state and is open to the public for free. Now, folks, so that's a bit about the history of the location. I'm going to go over a bit about the legend and the sorry, my earphones, a bit about the legend and the haunting, the type of haunting towards it there. So the type of haunting would be a fairy haunting, and there's not many places. There's a good few places in Ireland where you might encounter this. So I'm just going to show you a couple more things. I'm just going to hide this. Sorry, bear with me, folks. So what I'm going to talk about now is the type of haunting and the location. If I can get back that. Sorry. And this wee fella, which you'll see in a minute, is named as the Pucker. Not very well known to, not very well known in the field of the, with the paranormal in Ireland. It's I'll just go talk about it now. Bear with me. So this fella is called the Pucker. And this is the legend and story that goes with the castle. Now, the Pucker is associated with other castles around Ireland, especially there's a couple in County Cork. One that I do know is Carrickpucker Castle, situated near Macroom. So this is the legend of the Pucker. One evening, a member of the O'Kennedy clan discovered to his surprise through an English church window 2 vagabonds stripping a recently deceased corpse of a woman for valuables. O'Kennedy chased the 2 culprits. In retaliation, they summoned the Pucker, a red-eyed monster with flames coming out of its nostrils. O'Kennedy managed to repress the Pucker and took it back to Lackeen Castle. The Pucker warned if not released, it would set the castle ablaze. O'Kennedy told the Pucker not to harm any member of his family or any generations of the Kennedys to come. In doing so, the Pucker would be allowed to go free. The Pucker agreed to this, although it has been said in the late of night a black goat has been seen loitering around the grounds of the castle. And so that's the story of the Pucker, and this is the spirit that we were going, the fairy that we were going hunting for the night there. And the place where Lackeen Castle is, it's situated in the parish of Loha. It's accessible to, it's one of the best, as we would probably say, the best ruined castles available to go to in the country of Ireland. And it's according to the elements, it's vaulted as well. So there is a way of hiding the elements if you were to go there and do a paranormal investigation. So now I'm going to talk a bit about the base tests that we did, and several with GhostÉire investigations. We do a number of tests. We do on the evening of every investigation prior to going before we do the experiments and the vigils. So I'm just going to run through a bit of the baseline tests we're doing. I hope I'm not boring you. I'll come to your questions in a bit, folks. There. Okay. So I'm going to go through what was happening. Now, some of these are spiritual, some of these are done with equipment that we use, some of them are scientific results as well. So I'm just going to go run through a few of them with you. So the current move phase of that evening was first quarter. It was 55% of full. The astrological significance is Mercury's sextile with Neptune makes it a splendid day for speaking, writing, and visualizing. This is when you are sensitive to so many different realities. It is a time to be full of energy with the Sun and Mars in trine. So that's the astrological significance. So that's where the planets revolve around the investigation. Now, the EMF was quite low. It's below 1 milligauss in all of the buildings. So we wouldn't have to worry too much. There was no electrics there. Obviously, it's a room building. It's easy to work with there. You know, there's no, if there was anything with the EMF meters there might be something around the vicinity, around the outer vicinity that might be causing it, maybe storms or airplanes could be another reason. The forecast was partly sunny. The outside temperature, external temperature was 14.3 degrees Celsius. The internal temperature was 15.4 degrees Celsius. So this was relatively kind of warm, and it was around about April time, May time we did the investigation. Humidity was 59%. And the lux, which is the lighting, was 953. Now we go on to about that. That's kind of bright because we started off fairly early in the evening. The decibel level was A low was 33.8, A high was 63.9, C low was 34.3, and C high was 63.8. The most active area and room was the Great Hall, which was on the ground floor, and the Great Chamber on the third floor. The type of manifestation would be intelligent, residual, and fairy. So it's associated with the fairy folk. So the time duration we were at the castle was 8:30 p.m. till 1:30 a.m. The false anomaly risk was high. Now, the false anomaly risk means to do with how much stuff in the surroundings, the environment that can cause false readings. So we're in an outdoor area, so EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, could be contributed from sounds coming in from different places. The elements may play a course as well. There's bugs, and there could be to do with it might have counter droplets in the air as well. And the pre-face was poor. So the pre-face means the area to get to the building, getting around the building, walking up and down. You had to keep, there's no light in there. So obviously you have to bring your own light. So you have to be aware of what you're doing with the lights. Okay. So I'm just going to go over who was investigating that night. So myself, Anthony Kerrigan, was there that evening. 72 investigations. Sinead Houlihan from County Dublin, 35 investigations. Cameron Murphy from County Kerry, 12 investigations. Lindsay Critchley from County Limerick, 3 investigations. And Gemma Critchley from Limerick as well, 1, County Limerick, 1 investigation. So I'm just going to go through a bit of your questions, and I'm going to show the first bit of footage, folks. I hope you enjoyed that there. Make sure I don't get all the papers mixed up. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few shout outs and a few highs. So Irene, hello Irene from California. Hope you're doing well. She says she loves fairies. That's great, Irene. I hope you come. I don't know if you're going to come over, but hopefully you do come over. I say hi to Ray to you as well, and we all love fairies. They're all great folk there. Madeline Bornicle from Arkansas, if I can remember you on last week. Hi all. So I'm so glad I didn't miss you. The dust storm here in Arkansas is pretty bad. Ooh, dust storm. Hard time getting home to watch you all. Oh, well, thanks Madeline, for getting back in time to watch what we're doing there. So folks, I'm going to show you the first bit of footage this evening. So I'm just going to hide this and put it up in the stream. And as I remember, folks, if you can just, if you got any earphones, you might need them this evening. Now, if you might see behind me, I've got the Ghost Castle thing. I don't know if you ever played that as a board game. I've got that in the background there, so if you, and that's the shield that we usually take on there. So, oh no, that's number 2. This is the one that I want to show there. So I'm going to go. I'll show you the first bit of footage, folks, and then I'll go through what the experiments we were doing there. And there's a little graph I'd like to show you. So first up, we're going to be doing dowsing, and you'll see a bit of the talking board as well on this first bit of footage. So if you've got earphones, folks, you might need them. So where it's just stand where you think it where. Cheers, bro. Spot on. And just 1 second. Okay. Just don't say it, but where do you think is? Just move over to there. No, just stand and that where you think. Good girl. Cheers. Okay. Just wherever you. Oh, that spot. And further down. and and it's finished. Alright, just okay, so just stand over to where you stand to where you think is
this area.
okay.
This area here. Something around this area.
Right.
Can you tell me how many of you are here?
4.
Are you all related?
Yes.
Is Donica here?
Yes.
Hello, Donica. How old were you when you died? How old were you when you died?
D. A. T. E. T. I. T.
Do you still protect these lands?
Yes.
Are you still happy here?
Yes.
Are you lonely?
Yes.
Are you still carrying out your duties?
Yes.
On recorder. Okay.
Right, if there's anybody in the room, please come forward and talk to us. Were you married?
Alexander. A.
8, 4,
R. A.
10,
N. A. R. N.
Aaron,
Move back to the centre. That's the final answer. If not, you continue please. O.
O, my leg's shaking, so it's probably supposed to come and stand up, but my leg's really shaking. Like Jeremy was shaking, yeah.
Wobbly
Very wobbly, yeah, but I don't know if that's because I'm leaning over or not.
position from sitting down to standing.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, was it?
Hitting room. Henry. Got to go.
Kane issue. What age are you? Eight. One.
I'm digging to where back?
Yes.
And if I'm digging to where back?
No.
Okay.
It's dinner area. Who's the person?
Lindsay.
On Red 2 on me. Where you the king? Oh, cough, yeah.
Yeah, I heard a cough there as well.
Yeah, upstairs here.
It should do cough there like that.
Yeah. Is it still moving?
Okay. Come on, use your energy.
Come on, dear spirits. I give you permission for the other side to use I give permission for the other side to I give permission for the other side to come and step forward. Hear these words, hear these cries, spirit from the other side, come to me, I summon thee, cross now the great divide. I give permission for the other side to show me your perspiration. Thank you.
I give permission for you to move this. Thank you.
So I've gone to take my resistance and show me your pain. Okay.
I give permission for you to take my resistance.
Take my resistance and show me your pain. Okay, folks, I hope you were able to hear that properly there. Now, I've just got a little, before we move on to whatever happened now, I'm going to go over it there. I thought I'd show you the footage first. So if you have any questions, do please put them up there. And there's a little poll that I'd like to ask you there. There's a little poll, and there's a choice of 4 options. And it's which fairy do you find the most interesting? So you might know, have heard of the Banshee, the Leprechaun, the Pucker, which we're talking about this evening, and the Dullahan as well. So I think there's a little poll that we're running as well. So if you like to vote on that, please do during the show, or maybe afterwards there if you can still vote. Please let us know what you think is the most interesting fairy that you find. So I'm just going to go on to, you might have seen the experiment there. So it's the dowsing. Now we did this first up there. As you can see, there was a bit of daylight there in the investigation, and it was early on in the investigation that we did it there. I'm just going to show you a bit of the results of it there. So this was the dowsing experiment, which I'm going to talk about now. So first of all, I'm just going to talk about a bit of conclusion before the dowsing. This is from the results. We had the freedom of time to do the investigation. The downfall, however, was some of our findings would be disputable. So much of what the team and the recording instruments had picked up as being peculiar, the majority of the time wouldn't amount to outweighing rational interpretation. Every person of the team was alert, though, and questioned such unexplainable behavior. We were on edge from unwelcome visitors turning up out of the blue, as this was an open investigation. Anyone could come in at any time. Other matters that had to be taken into consideration were lurking animals in the wilderness, along with the local cattle in the same field as the castle, the noise from neighbouring properties and vehicles. The evening was still, not a blow of wind around. The most comfortable underfoot and spacious part of the building, the great chamber, will also be open to the sky. So this is what you might have seen there. We were doing the talking board in. This was the great chamber. Other areas of the castle were tight, dark, home to bats and birds, and unsteady to walk in, unless with proper lighting. Now, the first experiment, which was dowsing, you see a graph on the top of the screen there, involved 4 team members independently picking out a spot in the great chamber they felt to be influential. So I asked the question to each individual privately before they did the dowsing, and asked them the question there: where would they find the most active area to do the experiments, or where they found where the most active energy was. So the results showed that the 14 colleagues were fairly spread out from one another. A definitive active zone couldn't be pinpointed. As you can see, we're in the 14 members. Cameron there, as you see on the top left, Sinead on the bottom left, Lindsay on the top right, and Gemma on near the bottom right, all fairly spread out. So there was no matching spots for them. These 4 spots would be used as the post for all the experiments we'd be doing in the room. So all the rest of the experiments we'd be doing tonight will be featured in these 4 spots. So the main central spots. In talking board 1, as you've seen in the footage, in the great chamber with the questions Lindsay put out, we found out that there was presumably 4 spirits around, that they still protected the land they are on, and were all related. The spirit felt happy, yet was lonely. The outside world, to the people they did know, and with our kind not taking notice, could isolate, or it could be the situation they choose to be in. So the spirits could be choosing to be, that way. One might choose to be isolated themselves. Okay, just coming back from the graph. Donica was in attendance, Donica Kennedy. This being the case, with his family members being around, we have to assume that the former occupiers of the castle were present, the O'Kennedys. So it's going back to the O'Kennedys again. One such owner, Donica O'Kennedy, was the son of Brian O'Kennedy Thorne, the chieftain of Ormond, who the castle was built for. Donica ended up having to surrender the castle to Oliver Cromwell in 1653. For the broader questions asked, we received very little information, and at times none at all. If you may have seen it a couple of years ago, we did a Facebook Live, and Gemma called out in Irish, and there was very little coming up on the board. For the broader questions asked, we received very little information, and at times none at all. The planchette consistently made up unrecognisable words. One answer that may have some relevance was when Lindsay put across, "How old were you when you died?" The planchette spelled out DATETIT. Date could be establishing or assertion as event when something should happen. In this instance, the spirit could be implying this episode hasn't happened. So the spirit might be implying when it said date, it might be saying like a question. So when we ask this question, well, how old were they when they died? They actually didn't know. They might not know that they have died. Moving away from the English language, the word TIT, the letters TIT, in Irish is a verb describing to fall and to drop. We may be just trying to find a desired solution for the 2 words as well, yet they both align in sync with the question. We would have better success in exercising the Irish language in talking board 2. As you see, the name Aaron came out. Aaron, a spirit who was 81 years of age, was with us. English wasn't his relative tongue. The name Aaron originates from the warrior king in Ulster, dating to the 5th century, who founded a monastery on the Aran Islands. In Hebrew, the name means mountain of strength. Also, it is a word that describes knitwear or garments that have traditional patterns. Okay, so staying in the Great Chamber, as you see at the end of the last footage, the permission board got its introduction. Here, 4 members of the team asked for the spirit world to manipulate one particular part of their mental or physical state, thus heightening perception. So I'll talk about that in a minute. That's the permission board, which you'll see in the next piece of footage. And that's a board which we ask the spirits what ways they can manipulate us in the individuals to come and the experiments to come. So I'm just going to go through a few of your questions there, just see if there's anybody saying hi there. Norma Costello says, hi Norma. Norma says, you might enjoy watching the Shania Costello, Sophia Donahue Hayway. Okay, cheers Norma for that. If you have any questions, please folks do put them forward to me there until I'm going to show you some more footage. You can also leave a comment on this page or go to our website, www.GhostÉire.net. So I'm just going to show you now, this is the second part of the investigation. Things get a bit more interesting. If you've got earphones, do please put them in, because this will be something that you might hear noises coming in as well. So I'm just going to show the second piece there. And so this is in, we're all separated for this part of the investigation. Lindsay, Sinead and I, Anthony, are in the Great Chamber. Gemma is in the chapel drawing room, and that's the floor down below, and Cameron is in the floor, in the first floor below Gemma, in the garderobe 1. So check this out.
I call upon the spirits who wish to communicate with me or any of the other team. Make yourself known through noises, speech, any way you know how.
Right. Okay. So Sinead, you asked the question.
I give permission for the other side to please move the planchette to whatever you want, for what you want to give permission to me. I'll repeat that once more. I give the other side permission to, and please choose an option on the board.
You want to go to which one you're going to, how you're going to set Sinead. Okay, that is
There is indulge.
take my sense to indulge in taste. Okay, so
Like taste the taste.
it might come through your taste.
Yeah.
Blood or metal or whatever, could be
Yeah.
anything so long.
Yeah.
Are you there? Gemma, you okay over? Okay, now's your chance to repeat after me. So I want you to say, I give you permission for the other side too. Can you repeat that again? Or is me tapping?
You have a lovely home here if you live here. If you don't wish to talk to me, can you please communicate with one of the other members of the team? Can you touch one of them? Can you make a sound with your voice, please? I can feel something like a little pressure on the bottom of my right leg, but I can't tell if it's just my muscle. If there's any spirits here that would like to communicate with me, come forward. I mean you no harm. Can you maybe make a breeze? I know it's windy through here already. If you're here, can you make a noise? That's my feet. Can you make a sound with your voice, please?
I heard that too, yeah. Don't know what that was.
Which band do you represent? Use the plant shape and towards us now the shadows. Step out the shadows, link to the right, step out the light from the shadows. The light is heavy, not heavy is right. Times down now shall be.
Okay, I'm trying to get this on the camera, but it's
Not shine.
it's very fainty.
Okay. Just leave, take your finger off. Just
Just
finger off. Just.
need to put the light back on there for that one.
Okay. That is the night vision, is it?
Yes, on night vision. So we have here is O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Yeah.
Okay,
High
O'Brien.
noble.
Okay, we need you to pick out 5 cards for a telepathy test we need you to do with us there. If you pick out the first card.
To turn that on there again. So we have here is that says here Smith.
Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put that. And then Smith.
Smith.
It's heard like a. Again, thank you if that was you. Are you preparing for war at this moment?
One or the other.
Can you move more directly to it?
That is
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
Okay. I'll stick with O'Reilly. Can you point to the card again?
That one is I have a feeling that is it. Go back. That there Ryan, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 more cards to pick out. Can you point it more directly to the 4th card? Okay.
There we go. So
There
yeah.
we go. Let's stick
Here.
it down. Stick it down there. And the last card, can you pick which is the last card?
Sullivan.
Sullivan. Okay. So keep those 5
Alright,
cards
so
there.
yeah.
Okay, folks. So you may have just seen there the second part of the footage. There's one more part left. So I'm just going to go through over bits of what we got in that section there. So as you've seen, there was the permission board. So for Sinead, the spirit had chosen to affect her sense of taste. Near the end of the investigation in separation coroner vigil 3 in the great chamber, she described her stomach was in her mouth. Now you'll see this with the next part of the investigation. So the permission board is for showing what might come to the team, what they might feel in the experiments ahead. It proved that Sinead was showing signs of being worried or afraid. This sensation is caused by reduced blood flow to the stomach. Fight or flight can often cause this loss of appetite. The complication is, was it Sinead going through her own ordeal, Was it the spirit making an impression on her? A more distinctive result was when Gemma was in separation calling out Vigil 2 in the chapel drawing room on the second floor. You saw Gemma now was a bit in complete darkness. She radioed in over the walkie-talkie to the rest of the team in the great chamber. She had no knowing of the consequence to where the planchette had moved on the permission board. That's why we used to talk the walkie-talkies. Gemma asked over the walkie-talkie how the spirit could affect her. We kept it quiet. We whispered. There was an indication the spirit wanted to affect her movement to become mobile. Around 8.5 minutes so into her calling out, she felt pressure at the bottom of her right leg. So the spirit said it would impair her movement, and she felt pressure on the bottom of her right leg 8 minutes later. This is fairly unique intervention, as is one of the intriguing things that stuck personally out of the investigation. Several bizarre, perceptible, audible came over the digital sound recorder. As you see there, might hear better over on the YouTube channel of GhostÉire. The footage is up there, might sound better if you have earphones on. In separation calling out 1, in garderobe 1, first floor, and on the full spectrum camera in separation calling out Vigil 2 in the chapel drawing room, second floor, which you both saw there with Cameron down below and Gemma. Some of these are discernible, able to be picked up on both recording devices, but sometimes only on one and not on the other. So some of these voices were caught on one device and they weren't caught on the other, or they were caught on both. And some of them, there could be legitimate reasons for why the sounds would come. I'm not saying it's paranormal. There could be another reason why. Only a short number of steps on the spiral staircase divided the 2 rooms in between the floors. At the same time, no EVPs appeared on the vigils on the higher floor in the great chamber. That's where I, Lindsay, and Sinead were. This might be due to nobody recording at those moments. The video camera had the potential of picking out muted sounds, or because the way it was held in relation to the position and distance. Or the main argument is that the spirits were at the lower part of the castle, preferably connecting in with Gemma and Cameron, who were calling for stuff to happen. As in Cameron, you might have seen him there on the photograph. He was just probably meditating, which is another good way of bringing in the spirits. Some of the vocals caught on both the digital sound recorder and the full spectrum camera range in different qualities of volume and sound dissimilar to what the other device had captured. A spirit contributing a vocal in only one area might suggest they were communicating with a team member, were nearby, or had a association with that certain space. There was an assortment of voices coming through, which interestingly enough had English accents, which was interesting. As you can hear, there's one voice there coming in. One very clear voice stands out on both recordings. It is completely unlikely it came from any of the team with the intention and tone it came across. You'll hear it on the recording. You might see it on this piece of live footage on this, which we had just on the second part of the investigation. It could only be described as the spirit saying, "What's going on here? Back up." If so, was the spirit bewildered on our part being in the castle that it acknowledged our presence? The voice was accompanied by what seemed to be an animal breathing out, possibly that of a horse, and banging and clicking sounds similar to a wooden door being slammed shut and its handle being slotted into place. So it sounded like a door being closed, and the castle doesn't have any doors, which is interesting. The rest of the team could have contributed to the banging and clicking whilst moving the table up above on the 3rd floor when preparing for the next experiment. It brings us back to thinking, was the spirit en route to the castle, arriving to find an unwanted discovery, which was us? Maybe. Not going to be in us. Sorry, let me start the papers. Another possibility is that the spirit was reenacting a past scenario also. Their intention may have been to something happening from outside of the castle, hence being in fear inside of the castle. So there could be residual energies as well there. The word "run" came up on both recordings at the same time. On the digital recorder, it seemed to be an urgent expression. A female voice appeared different on both recordings. On the digital recorder, it said, let me see them. And on the full spectrum camera, it sounded like got them, see them, sees them. So sometimes it's our own interpretation of what we hear as well. Either way, they both resemble an act of pleading. When Jem asked, there any spirits here that would like to communicate with me, come forward, I mean no harm, a female voice could be heard saying, emotion, or emotion with an E. A spark of residual energy might have been played out here. What springs to mind is a tutor offering direction. Now, the room that she's in, Gemma, the chapel drawing room, as we refer to, might actually have had another purpose in the castle, one that might have served as a retreat for women in its day, which would have been a drawing room. Gemma picked out hearing a cough. A female reply on the full spectrum camera said, that was your man doing the cough. This showed recognition. Cameron identified on hearing whispering man voices. Indeed, a male voice is thought to have said, forever hold your peace. Later in the separation vigil, a further voice popped up with an English accent. Cameron meditating and Gemma politely asking questions offered an alternative way in seeking an approach. Did Lackeen, a fortress of the O'Kennedys, hold animosity towards the English, or was there another side to it? Now, this is interesting. Were the O'Kennedys of Lackeen, were they for the English or against the English? Now, this is interesting. It gets more interesting because we did the set clan cards, these types of cards that you saw on the end of that last piece of footage. The butlers, tenants-in-chief to the English monarchy, lost large amounts of land to the O'Kennedys in the 14th century. So the butlers that were close by lost a lot of land to the O'Kennedys. So the Kennedys were more or less against the English. Over the centuries, the O'Kennedys seemed to be anglicised, though. After the Treaty of Limerick, 1691, it stated that the O'Kennedys had allegiance to King William III, William of Orange, 1650 to 1702. The set clan cards experiment, it proved fascinating that the O'Kennedy card wasn't opted at any time of the experiment. So we had the O'Kennedy card out, but they didn't pick it out. It was revealed that the spirit represented the O'Briens. So the O'Brien's card was picked out. Sorry, my head's set. The O'Brien's card was picked out instead. Okay, now listen in. Back to Donogh O'Kennedy. He was descendant of Brian Boru, High King of Ireland, 1002 to 1014. The O'Brien dynasty was founded by Brian Boru. It proved more likely that the spirit of Donogh O'Kennedy was with us. So maybe Donogh O'Kennedy was referring to his further ancestry, which was the O'Briens. As you see, there was 5 other set cards picked out, and they were selected for a telepathy test, which hasn't been shown on the footage. They too could have a link with Lackeen and the O'Kennedys. First up, as you saw, was Smith, which is associated with McCain and McGowan, is an occupational name common to all parts of Ireland. The second card was O'Reilly. Both these septs had a great amount of power in the territories known as the Kingdom of Breffni, including current day counties Leitrim, Cavan and parts of Sligo. This is a part of the kingdom they lived in. Breffni was split into 2 in 1256. The O'Reillys took control of the Kingdom of East Breffni, current County Cavan, up until 1607. Forgive me if I'm not spelling this right. The third card chosen was Ryan. The Ryans separated into 2 septs, one of which O'Mal Ryans were powerful chieftains of Oni, present-day counties Tipperary and Limerick. They would have been neighbours to the O'Kennedys. Now keep with me there, folks, because this gets more interesting, okay? The set clan card Fitzgerald was nominated. The earldom of Desmond was first created in 1329, and Maurice Fitzgerald, 4th Baron Desmond, held the title as the 1st Earl of Desmond. The Fitzgeralds' loyalty to the English crown weakened, as claimed they were more Irish than the Irish themselves. James Thomas Fitzgerald was executed by the English in 1608 for his involvement in the 9 Years' War. So we're seeing now the set clan cards picked out were all those that probably represented those that were against the English. And this is where you might see where the O'Kennedys come in. The last card, O'Sullivan, gathered more importance. Donald Cam O'Sullivan Bear, 1561 to 1618, was in command of the Munster forces at the Battle of Kinsale, 2nd of October 1601 to the 3rd of January 1602, which supported Hugh O'Neill, Earl of Tyrone, and Hugh Roe O'Donnell at the height of the 9 Years' War against Elizabethan opposition. The result of the conflict ended in defeat for O'Neill and O'Donnell. Starting on the 31st of December 1602, Donald Cam, with 1,000 of his followers, marched north to avoid capture and to meet up with Hugh O'Neill. English forces and Irish allies fought against Donald Cam as he progressed. Even starvation and a cold, harsh winter hampered their journey. It was reputed that he had stayed at Lackeen Castle on his way to West Breffni, now County Leitrim, before crossing the River Shannon. Only 35 out of his 1,000 followers succeeded in finishing the expedition. So where does this come in with the O'Kennedys, especially Donica O'Kennedy? So I'm here, set. It's getting interesting. Okay, so hello, folks. Some of the septs designated have a link to being on the same side. The Confederation of Irish Lords in the 9 Years' War, 1594 to 1603. Okay, we know that James Thomas Fitzgerald, his brother John, regarded prime instigator of the rebellion. Philip O'Reilly, Egon O'Reilly, Eamon O'Reilly, Donald Cam O'Sullivan Bear, and O'Moolan's, Ryans, which means Ryan, all had the common goal in getting rid of English rule in Ireland. The O'Kennedys would join them. It is recorded that the O'Kennedys had 500 foot soldiers and 30 horses, the largest single company of all Munster rebel forces in the 9 Years' War. Only 80%, no, so going this way, there's how Kennedy comes in, and maybe the cards linked up with Donica. So my headset. So I made interesting in set clan cards, an experiment that we usually do. We used mainly the cards we used, the 5 cards we used for a telepathy test that we did as well. We didn't see it on the footage. So what we do was there was 5 cards picked out. I had a random selection of, I think it was, because it was 5 cards, 25 answers on a piece of paper, and the spirit had to identify which card was written on a piece of paper. Cameron and Gemma connected on a plant chat for this. I videoed and called out the numbers for 1 to 25. Only 80% of the telepathy test was done, the Fitzgerald card being the most frequent preferred. This experiment would have to be renewed at another location. An extra team member would have been handy for the test to succeed, so we would have to do another better telepathy test. So now, folks, we're going to move on to the last and final part of the footage. I hope you're hanging in there. I'm sorry now if I'm getting too much of you. So this is part 3. Now things start to get a bit interesting. Team members start leave the investigation. My hands go up in fire, and you'll see it now. So again, probably earphones might be essential. I might just go through a few questions. Sorry, there we have Irene. Irene said, "How do you or your team prevent a spirit from following you home?" Basically, Irene, what we do is we do a protection prayer before and after the investigation. We call on our spirit guides to protect us. I don't necessarily think they follow us home there as well, because there's other spirits that are around us as well that would prevent that, and maybe they might be the ones that we might think are following us home, but they're always there anyway. So I suppose that's the answer there. So following us home, I don't think they have now followed us home. If they have, God help them. I got 2 kids under 4 there, and they'll find it tough to stay with me. Okay, so I'm going to show you. This is part 3, the final part, and this is when I go on fire a bit there. So, if you are doing the poll, if you can participate in that, please do leave an answer there. I don't know how that's going on. Might see it there in a second. Okay, this is part.
Oh, that's me.
There's water dripping in here.
There is as well.
Just missed me. What's that all about? I'm not sure. I think it's water.
Did you used to throw parties here, maybe in this room? I thought I heard a knock, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't know if that's up above. But it was near enough, was it?
Yeah, I've heard a knock.
Could you make that more clear if that's you? If that's you, if there's somebody here who wants to be known, could you please let us know? Thank you.
Could you knock twice? Can you knock again to let us know that you're here, please? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gur míle maith agat. We'd like a knock for you. What year is it? Did you hold many gatherings here? Did many people come and visit? Did you enjoy music? Or do you still enjoy music? Do you play any music? Call up the stairs there. See.
Stairs.
Alright. We're gonna leave now. We're going upstairs. This is your last chance to make a noise. Or a sound, or whatever you want to do. Or make yourself known by tapping one of us.
Or if you're on the stairs, could you walk down towards us? So we can hear you.
Má sé de thula.
Imagine trying to walk down there with a ball gown or something.
At night time or something. To go to the toilet outside.
Back in the day, you know, when they would have worn...
Oh yeah, big
even-
huge dresses like
Yeah.
out to here, yeah.
Could somebody come down the stairs?
Are you here on the staircase with us? If that was you earlier on, if that was you making a sound, the knock, so please do that again. Are you hiding? What things have you got to hide from? Now, who's here with you?
cats are going crazy in there now. Maybe it's because we've gone.
We've gone, yeah. They're like, oh, they're probably like, yeah, finally we can do our thing. Yeah. What's that on the ground? Oh, it's a feather. God, yeah. Birds' heads and feathers and bats. Oh my.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah. Are you down there at all now?
It's like squeaking.
Yeah. It's a chick.
It's got to be a baby bird.
Baby bird, yeah.
It's got to be.
Baby bird, yeah. Could you please follow us up the stairs? Who's in charge here? Have you gone maybe to the top of this building? Maybe that's probably why. Maybe they just went up and they started doing their thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get one or two because Jenny played on the lighter last night. No, you have to get one club at a time. Okay. You ready? This is an offering to you, dear Spirit. Come and step forward. Use your energies. Come and step forward. This is your time, your chance, your energy. Come and step forward. Now's your time. Use the energies. Hear these words, hear these cries. Spirit from the other side, come to me. I summon thee, cross now the great divide. Snake. Very good. Come on, go. 3, 2, 1. Come and step forward, dear Spirit. Now's your chance. Use the energy coming from my hand. Come and step forward. Hear these words, hear these cries. Spirit from the other side, come to me. I summon thee. Cross now the great divide. Use the fire, the pucker, the blaze. The energies are coming forward. Come and step forward. And I can see the dark own blind and the world that walk in the circle this blind.
Name, give us a word, give us an age.
It could be a bird or it sounds like something there. I don't know. It could be.
Birds are moving.
It sounded like furniture moving.
Yeah.
The thing is, I want to ask there is where that's positioned there, that board. What is in that position? In your eyes, you can see.
Do you enjoy it here? Do you enjoy living here? What do you enjoy about it?
Movement down there.
What makes you happy here, if you are happy here? Fa. J.
There's movement in the other room. There's some in there.
J-E? Oh, F, sorry. J-F? What does that signify? What does that mean? Yeah. B-I-A-T.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
B-I-T, is it?
Yeah. Biaka. Come on to the bell.
Definitely moved the nice stone. Oh, it's gone cold. Very cold over here, though.
I.
Ich. Oh, nein. Die German, ne? Deutsch. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Wat woonst du?
Want to understand.
Right there. Live. The cool camera. Question mark. That's so weird. That door is freaking me out a bit.
Okay, I'll go before. I'm going to go and let's walk around.
You're going up there, and that's where everybody picked the thing, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going in there or do I go up there?
Where's the other option? Oh god, I think I saw something at that door. I'm just gonna go here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit freaked. I think I saw something at that door, so like it's something moved. I'm just gonna sit here. Whew. Shadows, yep. Yep, shadows, yeah, that was it. That was freaky.
Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, got walk.
I'm a bit freaked out, yeah. No, I don't get freaked out. I'm jumpy, but I don't get freaked out easily. That was freaky, yeah. Oh Jesus, I heard noise. I'm scared. I actually am very scared. No, what, Anthony? No, I'm very scared.
You want to go in there now and stay here? It's like next to the stairs.
Yeah. That name, something made a noise. Like it sounded like the drum thing that we bring. Did you?
Right, I think it's the metal bit. There could be animals out there. So.
Okay, where do I go? Oh,
Go up the steps.
I'm very. My
Yeah,
stomach's
go
in my
on.
mouth. Oh, there's crows up there.
Sure.
Yeah, there's crows here. You go.
Right.
What do you think that noise was?
I say it's just animals.
The boom boom boom.
Yeah, it could be that as well. The wood moving like.
Okay.
So I can walk through that door.
Oh Jesus man. That's me.
Is that you?
That was me, and I hit the.
That's probably what happened.
Oh right, and I gave myself a fright. Yeah. Yeah, that was probably it. Oh no, I thought I saw something. Oh God, give me a fright. I don't know what that was, but I think I saw something over on the left hand side of the room, which you can't really get, but. Whew. I definitely got a sense of feeling of being watched here, and it's very uncomfortable. A bit unnerving is the word. I know you tried to communicate earlier by knocking. If you could do that again, that'd be great. Just a faint knock would be great. I'm personally getting a very warped feeling here. Very strange feeling. I don't know if that's my mind playing tricks on me or not, but yeah, feeling very out of sorts. Okay. I feel like that there's a candle over there. I don't know, something beside it, some shadow or something. Oh, it's kind of weird. Very weirded out here.
Okay, folks, and so that was the last part of the investigation, and I hope you enjoyed it there. I'll just go and take you down to a bit more of what happened there. If it was a bit weirded there, it was a bit unusual. So I just give the last bit to the castle. So, as you saw there, Sinead and Lindsay heard knocking on the calling out vigil in the Great Hall. This is on the ground floor. This might have been attributed to the rest of the team on the next floor above, moving table and chairs. The belief that a spirit was communicating with them. Adding to the credibility, Lindsay asked the question, "Can you knock again to let us know that you're here, please?" To which a solid bang is captured. Occasionally, other rumbles are found on a full spectrum camera, just as question has been put forth. As you see, we did a third talking board vigil there, the experiment session. Cameron called out in German, "Where do you live? Wo wohnst du?" The planchette did eventually make out the letters ICH. Ich means I in German. It was what happened around the team that had them concerned. Now, as you see that I was holding the video camera and was going towards a particular exit down below. That was the only exit out of the castle, and there seemed to be movement coming from down below, which is frightening. Cameron described he heard whispering. In that short space of time, there was knocking, which Anthony regarded as resembling furniture had been moved. Anthony had been distracted at several times on what he thought was movement coming from down the stairs at the lower end of the castle. Lindsay also picked up this too. Animals in the vicinity have to be taken into consideration for causing these disturbances. Although after Anthony called out, "Are you a fairy?" a female voice turned up on the video camera, followed by a man's voice. These voices, along with others picked up shortly afterwards, are hard to understand. Nevertheless, maybe what we were talking about might have hit a nerve in relation to the pucker. Now, okay, so the legend might have hold a hidden agenda. So going back to the legend, talking about it before, talking about the pucker, as you see, Lackeen Castle there down below. It might tie in with the O'Kennedy's shift in support from the Irish nation, the pucker, the old hags who supported self-rule, and the corpse of a woman in the church, English sovereignty. Big up a story warning other clans from attacking them. So the story was made about the pucker to stop other clans attacking them, and it might be in relation that the corpse was English and was relating to sticking up for English sovereignty, and the Irish nation was the pucker, something with Irish heritage, and the old hags who supported self-rule. Our exploration of Lackeen didn't unravel anything spectacular, but there were pointers that relate to its past and to a specific age, the turn of the 17th century. So all we coming in was the 9 Years' War and probably O'Kennedy's and Lackeen Castle. Finally, there was an understanding between us and the other afterworld, but with a certain air of cautiousness in the mix. Lackeen lived up to being secretive. So as you said there, I mentioned there was a secret chamber in there. I probably might be go as far to say it could be a bubblyette, something similar to Lackeen Castle, not too far away in County Offaly. Also, well, you might have seen the experiment there. I was lighting up my hand now. This was just to bring in the pucker type of past enactment, just because it was the pucker was said to set the castle ablaze, and this was just to bring the spirits in a bit more. So just a final few comments before I head out. And so Norma Costello, thank you. I think you meant that message for friends of you on Facebook. Irene says, thanks, Bo. That would be my concern. This is back to the early question Irene put forward. We'll probably do another one of these at the end of next month, and it'll be Lockyer megalithic region. This place was also investigated in 2018, and it's one of these. There's 4 different areas in Lockyer that we investigated: a stone circle, a wedge tomb, a lake, and the museum there as well. So we'll feature that next month. So folks, I'd just like to say thank you for being in contact, and I hope this is just something that you might find interesting on the way. It's on the Saturday evening. So all I have to say is, if I don't see you, I won't see you next time. I'll see you in the near distance. Bích Margaret. Agus Gar Margaret. Slán. Go far. Bye bye.